you most beautiful stars. Yes, I'm holding this differently. For a reason. I have reasons for my madness. Good morning, good morning. Hello, happy sunshine. You beautiful stars. Hello, hello. So, I started, I don't know, you see that hole in my ceiling? Well, it's not a hole, it's just plaster falling off. There's reasons why I'm doing this. So last message was also of, as I'm checking all this stuff, there's reasons why I'm doing this, folks. Um, Definitely reasons. You'll see why. So a couple of Fridays ago, before I started traveling, I did reflections from Life Path 33. And in that episode, which you should go back and listen to, oh my goodness, so much good stuff. And I got so many lovely texts when I was traveling about last week's message, so I thank you, I thank you. But I had mentioned that in today's message of Reflections from a Life Path 33, that I was going to be talking about, how do you say, and I wonder if you can hear me. You know why? Because, oh, you can't hear me. Oh my goodness. See, even more so as to what this message is all about. So good morning. If you didn't hear that, good morning. I want to show you guys something. Because this message today is about keeping it simple, right? Keeping it simple, especially as we do go through the holidays. Keeping it simple, keeping life simple. Simple, simple. Something I learned long ago, and this message might get a bit deep, but here it is. So good morning, Seeker Shelley. I see you. Yes, I'm in a different position. I finally turned the volume up. And today I'm also going to be recording, finally, yes, with Lucky Stone 888. I believe that will be premiering tonight. So, I'm going to show you all my house. Well, about a bit of my house. I'm going to show you what I wake up to every day. And just my house. Because this is going to be about keeping it simple, right? And so as I'm going to turn this camera around and see how it goes. And this is how I wake up every day. Normally I would have already straightened everything up, because that's what I do. I take 20-30 minutes of the morning, do the dishes, sweep the floors, do all my household stuff. And today I actually finally recovered from the sleep lost this past weekend. So I'm a bit late in my morning. That's okay, I'll get to it. But I want to show you not just, this is how people live, this is what happens, this is life, because this will all make sense in the message, but also, it's very simple here. Very simple in my house. I keep things very simple. So, like I said, you see that? So we have this horrible, what's that, like it's this spray on, I don't even know what that's called, the plaster stuff. Well, so that started like peeling, and I just watch it peel, and then I occasionally will take some down. So eventually over time, my whole ceiling's gonna just be able to be redone, which is groovy. I'm not worried about it. Not worried about it, right? I'm going to turn everything around and see if you can, not at the ceiling, but this is my house. This is my house. Simple, yes. Do we have Christmas starting to go? Yeah, Christmas is kind of in full swing. I have my tree up. I don't have any ornaments on it yet. Simple. That's the couch that me and my dog, we lay on it all the time. I'm trying to make sure I can film stuff. Oh, and here's Sammy climbing the couch. Sammy, say hello. See, he's climbing the couch. That's what he does. He thinks he's a mountain lion. Climbing the couch. He's full of piss and vinegar this morning. Simple, simple, simple. To the point that let me make sure. Oh, you got some Christmas decorations on. Not so easy to get a full scope of my house. See that? Those are jeans that I took off last night and threw them there because I was taking them off. Simple hallway. Simple hallway. We got one thing up in the hallway. Simple. This here is a project that I'm doing for Pack-A-Purse. Simple, simple. Whoop, spin. We just spinned a lot. This is my kitchen. It's a mess. It's a mess, but that's fine. Simple, simple kitchen, right? There's a fridge that doesn't even have a door handle. Simple, simple. I know you guys are loving this. There's a reason why I'm doing this. Simple. Oh, now you can see a big pic. That dog has no idea what's going on right now. Normally we're in the office, right? Normally we're in the office and he's like, what the hell is happening? Look at my kitchen table. This is how my kitchen table looks. Like every morning. Recycling piling up. Dishes to be done. My husband's cookies. I'm trying to get the full effect of what's going on. There's a reason why I'm doing this, folks. Look at my ceiling. That's a leak. That was a leak in the roof that we took care of. And eventually I think we're going to turn that into the access point to the roof, right? But very simple, folks. Very simple. To the point that when we had to redo this kitchen, we could not afford more of those lovely cabinets, right? Those are nice cabinets. Yeah, you can't afford too many. So on the other side, we got that. Because why? It's easy. Easy, easy. There's a reason why I'm showing you guys this stuff, right? I do have some decorations up, of course. I do. This is trying to get that camera angled at the right place. That's some decorations. Like I said, my tree. I'm still in the process. And I know that was just a lot of spinning in the morning. Now my roof again, or my ceiling. There's reasons why I did that. And we're all gonna go back in the office together. I'm gonna grab my phone to make sure I'm still recording with y'all. There's reasons why I did that. It's interesting, the keeping up with the Joneses. You guys want to see my office right now? Oh my gosh, should have seen it yesterday. This is my office. Yeah, Sammy, lay down. This is my office. You come in. There's the pyramid. Oh, look, there's a dog. He usually lays right there, folks. So, and now the plants are over there because I had to move stuff for the tree. And this is where the magic happens. This is where I work. So, as I spin you around again. Pretty simple. Other than a pyramid. Pyramids are not as simple, right? The reason why I'm doing this is I set you in place. And I know that was a lot of spinning. This morning, the thought was so much easier in my head. Oh, my light's even backwards. It was so much more in my head, and then I realized, oh man, Courtney, that would be fussing with the camera so much. Just spin them. Just spin them around. To see that it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to create a good place. A good, quiet, serene, just peace. And we do live in a society where keeping up with the Joneses is a thing. And that was started way, way ago. Not even, well before that term. And we're going to talk a little bit about it. And this is Reflections from a Life Path 33. And so one of these is keeping it simple. And so I'm going to go into the past life aspect for a moment. And then bring it into today. And then probably talk a bit about history. And then bring it into the holidays. And of course, like I also said last video, that I would be talking a bit about acceptance and forgiveness. That is probably going to be, I'm going to keep doing little messages about that until a much bigger message. Because that is such a much broader concept that I'm kind of piecemealing it out. So good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. Like I said, I also will be recording with Lucky Stone today. Lucky Stone 888. That should premiere tonight. I even left this sweater on that's got a hole right here. Because why? I'm cool. It's cold. I'm good with this. I'm good looking like this, is what I'm trying to say. I'm good with my house is normally very simple. Now it's a little bit more so because of the holidays, right? There's nothing wrong with doing just a little bit more so to celebrate. It's a celebration. It's a celebration of the light. That's amazing, you know. I love this time of the year. I do. It's hard for me because I listen to a lot of stuff and I have a lot of communication with people. And there's been a lot going on for everyone. A lot. And guys, I tried warning everybody. And even last night, my own husband said, Courtney, I think you were, my own husband, I love this. He goes, Courtney, I think you were off a bit on your timeline of messages. And I went, how so, Brad? Like, how so, honey? And he said, I think what you were trying to tell everybody about October is here now. And I said, no, honey. I said, it started then. I said, by the end of November, people would have to learn how to stand their ground. You know, have their boundaries set in their mind. Have this, have that, right? Put that stake in the ground. This is who I am. I said, what's going on now is everybody has to experience it. Everybody has to actually live it. Everybody has to say, no, this is who I am. And that's going to be very much further. So we're actually not even in a full climactic energy of having to do that yet. It's starting slowly. And remember, as I always have said, it starts with self to self, which was a whole lot of October and the beginning of November. A whole lot of that, self to self. Who am I? What are my boundaries? What do I want in life? What do I need to heal? I mean, a lot of things were being revealed at the time, folks. I'm bringing you back to bring you forward. I will always bring people back to bring them forward. We all were going through that. I know. Short time period ago, but everybody's forgotten. As to the end of November-ish, even if we're not aware of it, things were being set in stone, right? Things were very much being set in stone. Good morning, Nicholas. Good to see you. We were acknowledging, accepting who we are even more so. And what matters to us. What do we want to focus on? What matters, right? Into now, we have to demonstrate this. We have to be the expression of. And in order to do that, we have to do it with other people first. And it usually is family, friends, co-workers. And that's why I know everybody's feeling it. On top of, there's been a lot of loss. And I've been trying to prepare people for that as well. Which during that time of loss, or even great change, upheaval. I will say, like with my husband's work, it was bought out. And a few months ago, they said, oh, nothing's going to change, nothing's going to change. And he tried saying that to me. And I went, uh-huh. Yeah, I've been here, buddy. Okay, we'll see. And of course, grand amount of change, right, is happening at his job. So it can be, which is a loss of the old ways, right? A loss of what he's known for the past 8 years. So things like that. Lots of, a very big shift is happening. And it's going to hit big time, like on December 12th, 13th, right? I'm loving it. I'm great. The new moon is also that night. Be with her. Within that, all those things that were presented to us in October, that need to be healed, all those things that were really presented to us with the choices we were making in November, making more, and maybe not fully walking in the change or the new commitments, right, to self and to others, but they were being more solidified, more thought about in November, right? And that by the end of it, we have a much better idea as to who we are and what we want to represent and how we want to walk through this life. So now we get an opportunity to practice it. Very difficult though. Very difficult. Difficult with the shift that everybody's going through. Very difficult with the time of the year and all of what we've known that's been presented for the past few decades that we don't actually want to participate in, right? The commercialism of things. So that's why today's message will be focused on keeping things simple. Remembering the values of yourself and what the beautiful star that you are and how you want to shine. So that's why I started this video of walking you kind of through the chaos of my home in the morning. I still got dishes to do. I still have to straighten up. I still am not done with Christmas decorating at all. I don't even have ornaments on the tree. It's just kind of there, right? It's lovely to give myself space and time and relaxation in the trusting that if I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. It doesn't define who I am, right? I do like to decorate because I love this season. As we're going to talk more as the season comes. And I'm sure Lucky Stone 888 and I will discuss some of it as well as we move forward. Because this season is about remembrance of the light for me. And it's lovely. I take in all the light that I can. So all through the darkness of January and February, I am just embraced in the light, right? It has been difficult, folks, for a lot. And I want to actually go to something my husband said when I had to travel to Biloxi, Mississippi, and I wanted to record more film, but there was a lot going on. The reason I had to do that is because I had an uncle who passed away, and my mother had to go to that funeral. Big Chicago Irish family, 7 siblings. She had to go. She's also the matriarch of the family. But her significant other was not able to travel. So, and kind of needs observation, at least definitely in the night. So I had to go to Biloxi to sit with him. Very, it was difficult for me because, well, different generations, so different thought patterns, different ways of going about life, and vastly different energy. Vastly different energy. As I've said many a times on my program, my house is really on lockdown. Nothing comes in or out without my permission. And I like it that way because I can fill it with the light then. I can fill it with the love and grace and peace and harmony because it's mine. I have authority over what comes in and what comes out. Well, when you travel, and I'm bringing this up because people might be traveling. I saw that Shelly in the comments says that she goes and visits family if they can with the weather. Many people do that. And many people are looking at that right now of, oh, by next weekend or something, people might be hitting the road here, at least in the States. Footnote to that. I had never driven all the way through the state of Alabama until this past weekend. Drove the entire, from the top of Alabama all the way down Alabama into the Gulf of Mississippi to get to Biloxi. Oh my gosh, beautiful, beautiful stars here in the United States. I loved Alabama. It was beautiful. It was smooth driving the whole way through. I mean, the traffic I hit was around Chattanooga, Tennessee. There and back, which is where I live for the most part. Most beautiful state. Even going around the big cities, it looks so clean and nice. And I'm a big fan, I think, of Alabama right now. Just location wise, and it was lovely. It was absolute, and I've been through many of the U.S. states. I've been through a lot of them. Man, it was lovely. I mean, there's a lot of lovely states, but then you'll hit pockets of towns or cities or whatnot that it's just not enjoyable, right? This one, Alabama, nothing. It was enjoyable the entire time. The energy was lovely. I mean, and you can feel it. For those who are not here in the United States, you can tell often. Let's say you cross into a border, and then you can kind of feel like the energy shifts. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. You can feel it, right? I can feel it. Well, I can. You have the opportunity to be able to feel it as well. Um, Even, I will say, even if I go into Tennessee for something and then I'm coming back home into Georgia, I can feel the shift of energy. And man, Alabama, beautiful energy the entire time. I just want to stress that for those who have never been there, go for it. It looked lovely. I'm probably going to try to make some more trips down there and experience it for myself. I like taking little mini Courtney getaways, time with myself. Just little ones, right? So, hello everybody that's coming in. I try to usually say good morning to everyone, good day, grand rising. I think Alexander came in. Good to see you, my friend. So, as we know now that, okay, some of this shift that's going on is also here to help us establish ourselves even more and be more comfortable with ourselves, appreciate ourselves, and stand for ourselves, right? As we've been talking about since the turn of the year last year, of kind of that stake in the ground, this is who I am. Well, first we have to establish it within ourselves. Awareness, right? Acceptance. Acceptance of things that we still need to heal, and acceptance of things that we appreciate about ourselves. Finally, right? Regardless of what other people say, right? And then it moves in expressing all that to others. And now we're in the season of the opportunities to do so. But because of a lot of this shift and the grand loss that people are experiencing, there's going to be more loss, folks. And I've been trying to prepare everyone for that, and we walk through it together. We walk this awakening together. And that loss could be a loss of what we've always known, a loss of a loved one, a loss of parts of our identity that we held on to so very strongly to that are slipping away, and we don't know what it's going to be replaced with. Trust. Remember, it is a cosmic law that if we take something away, we have to replace it with something else, or the cosmos is going to decide for us. So we can trust. It is that opportunity to demonstrate to others and hold our own ground. And that is what I was trying to accomplish this past weekend when I was in vastly different energy than I'm used to living in. Vastly different energy. And it's not that I don't respect that energy. It is to each their own. All is choice. Just very different. Energy I hadn't been around in many, many, many years. Many years. Lots of fear. Lots of anger. Even hatred. I had not experienced that in many years. And many of you might experience some of that too as you're growing and evolving, especially in this season when we get around others that aren't aware, that only know the 3D, that only know of the pain, the loss, the fears, the duality of the magnitude of 3D right now. We're going to get around a lot of those people. We have to have compassion for ourselves and others. So this is, I'm just making this statement before we get into the living simple, okay? We have to have compassion for ourselves and others. And in moments of that, it's compassion for self first. If you have not experienced that kind of dialogue in a long time, or that amount of fear around you in a long time, or you disagree completely with their train of thought, compassion is self first, and then others. Understand that in all the moments with others, you will most likely be doing the best you can. Pull back. Take a moment. Take a breath. Take a pause. And just do the best you can. And know that you are safe and loved always. And then extend that out. Acknowledge that they're actually doing probably the best they can, even if you completely disagree with it. That is their journey. We appreciate their journey. We appreciate where they are in their journey as an observer, right? As an observer, not as a judge. Not as a judge. We do not judge ourselves nor others this season. And it's very hard for many to do that because this season has created so many judgments. So many judgments. And it's mind-boggling to me. It's mind-boggling to me. Like I said, I listen to a lot of people. And during this season, especially the past few years, there's been a grand pushback to the commercialism of this season, which is beautiful. Great. That's lovely, right? I think it's how we push back is the difference. You know, in all of this grand system that we live in, it's the degrees. It's the different degrees, right? This is why so many people in 3D are still living in extreme polarities, because they're moving back and forth between extreme degrees. Degrees as in all is different degrees. All is. All is energy, and the degree of that energy determines how it is. This is a solid candle, solid, because of the degree. You put some heat to this candle, it melts away into a different degree, right? I'm at 1 degree, or a few different degrees, let's say, and so are you. And so in the season, you're probably going to be moving even yourself through a bit of different degrees, because one moment somebody might say something that royally irritates you. See where you're at with your degree. Are you holding compassion for yourself and others? Are you holding that? It's all in degrees of vibrations. It's all in degrees, right? This too shall pass. So, as I listen to these people a lot, because of course it's been talked about of the commercialism of things. You beautiful stars, you ladies and gentlemen, you lovely lights, you shining vibrations, we're the ones that create that. We're the ones that create all of this. So the pushback to it has been very verbal and very judgmental, right? That's why I said it became, and it still seems to roll out that way, the season of judgment. When it's supposed to be the season of light and celebration, it is now the season of judgment. It's wild. It is so wild. It is the season of self-righteousness and judgment. It's wild to me, right? How if somebody wants to go all out and decorate and their house is covered in the most beautiful lights, or they express so much in giving, and we can see that it's because they feel the need to, as in for appearance purposes or obligations, we might see that that's what they're doing. Then just observe it. Just observe it. We don't have to judge that person for it. Just observe it. Say, okay. Okay. And I think a lot of people also forget, we tend to want to do those things, have all the lights, have all the hot chocolate. I mentioned that last time. I love hot chocolate, man. We see these things, and it's turned now into expressing judgment onto those people instead of remembering that because this is supposed to be a time of fun. Fun. We're pulling the fun out of it every time we express the judgments onto others. Instead of going, oh man, they did such a great job on that house. That's beautiful. That's amazing. Oh man, this is the best hot chocolate. Oh man, thank you for this gift. This is great. This is what I give you. Because you're great. Everybody's so great. And it's time to experience that. Have fun with other people. Enjoy people. Give. Share. Experience. Have fun. Fun, fun, fun. In the light, right? Fun, fun, fun in the sun before the sun goes away. But it's become judgment. So here's the thing. Keeping it simple. I learned this, and I'm going to now express the past life. And it was actually a life right before this life. So I'm honored to have learned this. In that past life, very simple life, I was a male, which I will express to people, and I do know this from the Akashic and otherwise. Oftentimes, once we shift into a gender that, no matter how long we've been living different lives, we'll stay with a certain gender for a period of multiple lives for the lessons that we're learning that are more taught through that gender, right? Like last episode, I talked about an attack that I went through as a female, and then being in a community of females who also experience things like that, and how the community aspect helped me learn, grow, and heal. Very much I needed to learn that as a female in a female body, right? And we do shift in and out, but oftentimes we'll spend pockets of lives in the same gender over and over again, and we might not shift that much, right? Same as because of soul contracts, we also tend to stay in the same pocket of location for multiple lives. Because of my soul contract with this person has a soul contract with that person and that person and that person and so on, that this web that I'm a part of stays here. Could be Northern Ireland. It could be Alabama. It could be Jamaica. It could be wherever. Because of the soul contracts we have for multiple lives, we tend to stay in the same kind of location because our lives are attached to other people's lives. So, location and the gender that we live in tend to play out the stories. Okay? And that's a whole different topic, but I guess it's a footnote that I need to put out there. So in the last my last life, before I came to this one, right? My last life, I was actually a male. And I do believe that might be why I ride a little bit more on the masculine this life. I've had multiple lives that I was man. I've had multiple lives that I was woman, but the last one I was a man. Um, but actually a much smaller man than the woman I am today. I was a little man. I was a little man. Well, I was a coal miner. Um, and I do believe that might have been Pennsylvania, the Virginia's area, maybe even North Carolina. Um, I didn't look up location. I wasn't looking at the location. When I do past life stuff for myself, it's to acknowledge what lessons did I lived it. Um, but it's what did I learn, right? Uh, he had the most simple life. He was a coal miner. He never got married. Um, After he lived with his parents in the same house for ever and ever, and then when they passed away, he lived in that house. Um, Never changed the furniture. He never dated. I mean, he lived such a solitary life. Pretty much ate the same thing over and over again without complaint. Occasionally, for the holidays, like let's say Christmas, somebody would invite him to their house. Maybe he would show up, maybe he wouldn't. Somebody would maybe drop off some ham or something for him. Not no complaints. No complaints. He did the exact same thing day in and day out. The exact same thing. And as I was reviewing this life, in my current ways, I was just like, whoa, I don't know if I could ever live like that. The exact same thing day in and day out, eating basically beans and a piece of bread almost every single day. Having very little interaction with people. Um, but they said, no, 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 watch, Courtney, as I'm learning and growing from knowing I live this life. They said, no, 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 watch. He is completely content. He is completely content in the simplicity of his life. And they said, and that lives in you. And I said, really? That lives in me? And they said, yes. Why do you think you go through your house at least 2, 3 times a year and just start getting rid of stuff? All sorts of stuff. It doesn't matter if it's yours or your husband's. You're just like, we don't need any of this. Very simple. And I said, yeah, I do that because I can't stand having things for over, like every 5, if I've had something for 5 years or longer, and I could care less about it, not paying attention, I get rid of it. That's even sentimental things. Even sentimental things. I don't hold on to sentimental things. Because you can't take it with you. Why? It doesn't hold my memories for me. And I know there's a big pocket of people that their brain operates differently. And they feel like they do need that because it jolts the memory, right? I operate differently because you can't take it with you. And they said, and think about how you operate, Courtney, that when you have $3 in your checking account and you're not going to have money for another 3 weeks, you know exactly how to live. You make it happen. No one starves. You're still very comfortable. You're not in fear. You're still very content. They said you learn this from that life. That if you live off of beans and bread for a while, you have no qualms with it. And I said, yes, I know. And they said, this is where you get it from. This is where you get that from. They said, this is how you can also go weeks without talking to anyone, which I can, folks. I know you see me here. You see me here, and I love spending time with you. And many of people think that I'm an extreme extrovert because of it. I'm actually, guys, I spend most of my time in silence. Maybe the TV's on. Maybe I'm, doing whatever. Maybe I'm listening to a podcast or whatnot. But I spend a large majority of my time in silence. I can go weeks without speaking to anyone. And I even live with somebody. We can go weeks without really speaking to each other. And we're fine. We're perfectly content with it, right? This is also why I keep my house simple. I keep Christmas simple. I create a lot of gifts that I give because it's the gesture. It's the expression of, hey, I'm thinking about you. And 'tis the season to show those that I love. I still send Christmas cards for that expression of love, right? That sort of thing. Because it's an expression of love. You're on my list. You're on my list because I'm thinking about you. There's a whole lot of people not on my list because I'm not thinking about them. There's a whole lot of people. But if you're on my Christmas list for Christmas cards, I'm thinking about you. I like you in my life. I like you in my life so much that I might reach out for your address, or I might get your address somehow. That's how much I enjoy you, right? And others, you might just get an email because I enjoy you that much. That's the purpose of all that. Of saying, oh my goodness, you're on my list. You're another fellow human that I think about enough to have you on a list. Oh my gosh. Hey, I just wanted you to know, right? Because we know a lot of people. Everybody knows a lot of people. That doesn't mean that they get on the list. You can appreciate them when you run into them. You can appreciate them from a distance. You can love them. That doesn't mean they're up here all the time, right? Simple things. Simple things. We can keep this season and moving forward very simple. Because I also know that many of you have already learned that lesson. For whatever various reasons in that past life that you lived through, famine, depression, whatever it may be, you know how to do that. And you know how to express love and appreciation and care and compassion for others and be the light without the glam, without the merchandise. You know how to do that. And this is the season of that expression. And the reason I'm saying this is because it is the season of light. And you are all the most beautiful stars that are shining. And you can see, as I said in the last show, light reflects light. You can see the other lights, but they might not be able to see it in themselves. And many of you beautiful stars might not be able to see it in yourself. But that's why I'm here, to say you are. I see it. I see it. I see the grand potential of all of the lights. All of the lights. The grand potential of them. It's very hard because I want to, everybody's on my list to tell you the truth, but everybody's on my list, but I only have so many hours in the day. It is that we are trying to express. I see the light in you. You see the light in me. happy holidays because we're celebrating each other and the light within and around. It's our time, right? All the little suns, SUNs, walking around. It's amazing. And that's all it takes. That's all it takes. It does not take the commercialism. It does not take the grand Christmas meals. It does not take that. We've had many, we don't even do a Christmas dinner. Never have. I've never done a Christmas dinner. Never in my life. I don't even know what that's all about. People getting together for a Christmas dinner. Wait, especially when you just had Thanksgiving dinner. What's the point? Sorry. It's kind of how I grew up. What's the point, right? We've never done that. I've never had a Christmas dinner in my life. We, in my household, and Brad kind of tagged along for the ride, you know. In my household, we basically, we munch on all the stuff that we don't normally munch on through the year. All the stuff that ain't really good for you. You know, I will tell you, guys, I love jalapeno poppers. Love them. Oh, that's such an American thing, isn't it? Love the jalapeno poppers. Do I eat those on a regular basis? No. No. I will at Christmas because I love them. They're delicious, right? Things like that. We kind of munch Christmas Eve on the things that we enjoy because we're supposed to be having fun and having joy and enjoying, right? What we do is Christmas breakfast, brunch. That's what we always did. You know, the full hash browns and eggs and bacon. That's all we do. I don't try to make some big old Christmas dinner. That's not what we do. And we're also alone. Especially since Brad and I moved down here, all of our friends are doing other things. It's just Brad and I. I'm just chilling out. I'm watching a White Christmas. I watch a White Christmas every Christmas night or Christmas Eve. It's my jam. I love that movie. It's my top favorite Christmas movie. Love that movie. It's a great movie. And that's, you know, actually now that I bring that up, I was on the phone with Brad over the weekend, and I was having a very difficult kind of weekend, right? And I get on the phone with my husband, because of all the different energies, vastly low and intense energy that I was in for days. Low, I mean, we'll probably go to the chart here in a moment. Low and very, very intense low. A vastly different degree, you know. Imagine living in the degree that you're used to, maybe fluctuating a little bit here and there, but my degree is never that low. I live more in 5D than ever 3D in today's world. And all of a sudden I'm plummeted into the lowest of the low, right? And trying to sustain myself. So I'm on the phone with my husband, and we're talking about not just where I'm at, but the going-ons with people, the going-ons with other humans right now. I've had friends who have lost their parents. I've had, like I said, the changes at my husband's work. I've had other business associates that are just a lot going on, right? Marriage is ending. I mean, there's a lot going on. Brad said, you know, Courtney, I hope it was so interesting that he said this. Speaking of Christmas movies, he said, Courtney, I just hope people don't get discouraged. I said, yeah, I hope not too. And it, like, I wasn't even thinking that, but yes, I don't want anybody to be discouraged. And he said, no, Courtney, I'm feeling that people could start becoming very discouraged. And I said, okay, honey, because when he says I feel something, I have to listen because he feels he feels the collective in a way that I can't even imagine. And he said it's kind of like the beginning of It's a Wonderful Life. And for those who aren't here in America, in the States, you might have seen that movie, the old Jimmy Stewart, black and white, It's a Wonderful Life. Here in the United States, it played pretty much every Christmas night for multiple decades. The majority of us know that movie, okay? So when I reference it, we very much know it. If you haven't seen it, it is a good movie to watch. It's a Wonderful Life. He said it's kind of like the movie It's a Wonderful Life. And I'm just listening to my husband. And he said, but everybody seems to remember the ending of that movie. And I said, yeah, because it's a great ending. I love the ending. I'm like, yeah, that's right. Community, as I talked about last week, community. Caring for others, because it's not all about us. And he said, no, everybody forgets the beginning. And I said, okay. And as I'm and he starts to describe the beginning to me. The first opening scene of that is two stars talking. Sorry, I might choke up a bit. And it was exactly what I needed that night, right? My husband saying this. He said it's two stars talking, and they're to represent angels. And I said, yeah. And he said, do you remember what they said? I said, no. And he said, well, the one star turns to the other and says, Clarence, look at the Jimmy Stewart character. And so they're watching him. And Clarence said, oh my goodness, what has happened with him? Was it great loss? Was it this? What's going on? Because at the beginning of that movie, Jimmy Stewart's contemplating some drastic measures. And the other star turned to Clarence, who's shining bright. And he says, no. He said, the worst thing, I don't know the words completely, but he said the worst thing that can happen to a human, he's discouraged. And then Clarence goes, oh goodness, discouraged. No, I have to go and help. I have to go and help. And then the movie plays out. What a most beautiful opening scene. For us to remember that being discouraged can lead to such things. And that all the beautiful stars, all the angels walking this earth, don't want that for us. You don't want that for you. You don't want that for others. And 'tis in the season of the light, 'tis the season of light that has now become the season of judgment. If we look at things with a much more simplistic being the observer mode of they're doing the best they can, let's stop judging ourselves and others. And if you see discouragement in places because people feel like they can't keep up, because nobody really can, not if they have that mindset, then you can help them. You can be that light and say, you know what? I think what you've done so far is great. Let's go get some hot chocolate. I think what you've done so far is wonderful. I don't think you need to do any more. Don't be discouraged. It's lovely how everything is. You've done a great job. Everything is perfect. Right? It's our job to help people understand that, because discourage can happen in this time frame that has become more about judging ourselves and others, judging ourselves and others. If we can be the ones that say, hey, let's keep it real simple and enjoy and have fun. Let's laugh. Let's eat some popcorn and watch Jimmy Stewart instead of worrying about all the things we don't need, right? So I'm coming up to the end of my hour. And I wanted to talk a little bit about acceptance and forgiveness, but let's just briefly talk about acceptance. Judgment of self and others and keeping up with the Joneses, especially through this time of the year, right? That kind of concept started very, 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 very long ago. And yes, in my opinion, it was already present in human society, different tribes, that kind of thing. The honoring of others, right? To be honored. I do feel personally for myself, it was more of the Romans and the Catholic Church that brought it to a whole nother level. A whole nother level, right? Of being honored in front of others for a job well done, right? With the bishops and whatnot being able to communicate from, supposedly a source of God. Same with other cultures. I mean, in ancient Jewish traditions, there's things there that it's like, whoo, that is pinning people against each other, right? Which really goes back to the gods, plural. A lot of the gods started this, of pinning humans against humans. This group is better than this group, that group's better than that group. You're the best within this group, right? You're the best. I mean, even the story of Enoch. Supposedly God loved him the best, that he got to be sucked into the air. He was sucked away. He didn't have to die. Wow. So that is who we have to compare ourselves to, is Enoch? Right. So this concept of comparison, judging ourselves amongst our peers, keeping up with the Joneses. Are your Christmas cookies perfect? Are your... Does your house look immaculate? That's why I started this video the way I did. I got dishes to do, folks. I got stuff going on. My house is not going to be looking good for quite a long time. Groovy with me, because I don't keep that much stuff in my house for it to be a landslide all on top of me. Right? Simple, a little bit disorganized. It's fine. I welcome you all in. You can come on in. Have some morning coffee. I don't even think I have food to give you as a treat, but we can figure it out because I got some flour and sugar. Right? That's how it should be. It is for us to acknowledge that within ourselves, that the most important thing is to be the light. That's the most important thing. It's not what we own. It's not what we rarely give. It's not how we present ourselves. That's why I wore, I was wearing the shirt anyways. And then I went, oh, Courtney, you should change your shirt. And I went, no, I'm not changing my shirt. This is what I look like. This is who I am. I'm going to walk around all day like this too. Because I don't care. I'm going to walk around all day. So, in the season of judging, people can get very discouraged. And we don't want that. We want the light. We want to remember that this is a celebration of light. The light that lives in you, the light that lives in me. The more we keep it simple, the more we say, hey, I love you. You're awesome. Hey, I see your light. Hi, beautiful light. The more we do that, in whatever way we like to. I like sending Christmas cards. Y'all might not. But I also have a degree in writing, so some get big messages, some don't. That's my expression of love. I don't do much more, right? I don't do much more. You might have your own way. Call somebody you haven't talked to in a long time. You might see a family member or friend that is becoming overwhelmed. Say, hey, give yourself the permission to let go for an hour, and I'll take you out. We'll go get a cup of coffee, or come on over so you can vent it all out. Vent it all out. Sorry, my dog is trying to get all into some boxes that he shouldn't be in. What are you doing, Samson? See, even him, he's like, yeah, the house is a bit different. What's in this box? And so, folks, that's what namaste means. It means I see the divine in you. You see the divine in me. Hello, divine. Hello, divine. That's what it's all about. Not all the other stuff. But we have compassion for self and others because they might not know that. We judge people for being programmed. But yet, we are then still participating in the same program if we are in judgment. Because that program is nothing but judgment. It is nothing but judgment. It's how that program still operates and still spins and still goes through all the cycles. Is if we can keep these humans judging each other, then we have full control of them. Judgment is separation. Judgment is distrust. Judgment is all the bad. All the bad. And I will tell you, 5D compassion, when we really are working on that, expressing it, living it, day in and day out, we might have moments, but it's still always present, is what leads you to 7D non-judgmental living, a whole new earth. 7D non-judgmental living, a whole new earth. And it can start now. It can start now. Letting go of the self-judgments, letting go of the judgments towards other, and being the light in simplicity of the purest of what the light represents. So, I know this was kind of a long roundabout message, roundabout in some ways, but if you're going to have a season, and you might be looking at, I don't have much right now. I don't have much to give. I don't have much to even give myself. Then lay down the much. That's still a form of judgment. The word much is still a form of judgment in that context. It's still judging. Lay it down. Lay it down. Do what you can when you can. Do what you can when you can. It's not that hard. And I know you can just shine. And that is even more than anything else. So, if that is what is going on with you, that's going on with everybody across the board, by the way. That it sincerely is. That's going across the board. And the people that I see struggling the most are the ones who had always kept up with the Joneses are now freaking out because they can't. So it's uncomfortable. It's unfamiliar. Their concepts and ideals are starting to crumble. That is very difficult. Just be the light. Remind them, hey, do you have love? Just be in love. Do you have love? Be in love. It's wonderful, right? So, no self-judgment, no judgment in others, compassion for self, compassion for others. Be a light and keep it simple, because that is where pure love is. It's lovely. And every tradition, or ancient traditions and cultures, many of them understood this. Many of them understood this. Such contentment with simplicity, such contentment with just shining. So, I love you all dearly. I didn't get to the acceptance part and the other forgiveness aspect, probably because I had some stuff to say here. So, lovely patrons, I will be with you on Sunday. We're having our December gathering. I can't wait. For those who are interested in joining us on Patreon, I keep it real cheap, so we can be a full community of like-minded individuals that are learning and growing together. The link is in the About section. Otherwise, folks, stick with me. I am going to start filming with Lucky Stone 888. I think one will premiere tonight, and every Friday. We're going to try to do every Friday. And that'll be fun. I believe now it's going to be Esoteric Tea with Lucky and Courtney. I think it'll be fun. We'll talk about all sorts of various things. And I just want to say I appreciate all of you. I appreciate everyone who came in the chat. I saw Beloved and Jackie and Teresa, Lori, Shelley, Nicholas. I see you guys. I really do see everyone. That's the gift that I have, being a seer. I can see. And everyone is so beautiful and magical. I think one program I'm going to have to do is, this is not just a season of light. It's a season to remember the magic within the light. Oh, I love it. I love it. I must be the only person left that loves it so much. I do. I love it. Because all that magic is within all of us. And it's miracles. You're a miracle. You're a beautiful star. I love it. I love it. And I adore all of you. I really do. I love all humans walking around, experiencing their journeys with no judgment. It's just a journey. That's all it is. Keep it simple. Have fun. Don't take life so seriously or you'll lose the point. I love you guys so much. Mwah. Bye. Ciao.